Hello everyone, welcome to SkillArray. In this video, let us discuss about two-dimensional array. So what is the basic form of declaring a two-dimensional array? So it starts with data type followed by the name of the array and the sizes. So here A and B are the sizes of the particular array. Now, how do we declare a one-dimensional array? It is simple. Just specifying the data type, name of the array and size of the particular array. So this is an example of one-dimensional array which consists of 2, 4, 10, 5, 15 and 3 as elements inside this particular array. So these are the array elements, and in order to access these elements we need to know the indices. So these are the indices. Now, for example, if I want to combine three different arrays, so we will be declaring three different types of arrays like int a of 5, b of 5, c of 5. Instead of declaring three different arrays with three different names, if we combine all these into a single array, then that is called as a two-dimensional array. Okay, the best example for two-dimensional array is matrix operations. So that's why for matrices we will be using the two-dimensional array. So now if we combine all these elements 8, 9, 13, 55, 11, 18, 29, 3, 5, 18, 4, 49, 7, 45 and 1. Now if you observe here, there are two indexes. The first index represents the number of arrays that we want to combine, and the second one represents the total number of elements inside each particular array. So here we have three arrays ABC and each of 5 elements. So this is how we basically declare a two-dimensional array. Let's talk about how do we initialize a two-dimensional array. So let us discuss about the first method of declaring a two-dimensional array. So here I am considering a of 3, 2 is equal to some number of elements. So as we discussed earlier, the first part represents the total number of rows, 1, 2 and 3 rows, and the second part represents the total number of arrays inside that particular row. So as per this, it should have two elements. So the first two elements will be stored in the first row and the next one in the next row. In sequential manner, the values will be allotted in this particular array. But sometimes this is a bit confusing to the user. So there is an efficient way to initialize an array. So this is our method 2. So in this method 2, simply as the first index represents the total number of rows, we will split the array into 3 sub-arrays. And the second part represents the total number of elements. So each array will consist of 2 elements. Got it? So this is the better approach to initialize a two-dimensional array. The next part is accessing and printing a two-dimensional array. So let us consider an array, and now what is the total number of rows and columns in this particular example? There are 3 rows and 4 columns. So the declaration will be like, all these are integers, right? So that's why int a of two-dimensional array. The first index represents the total number of rows. So there are 3 rows, and the second represents the total number of values on each row. It is 4. So this will be my array declaration. And now, how do we write a program in order to print all these elements in sequential order? So sequential order in the sense, first I will be printing 15, next 20, 25, 30, and then 20, 30, 40, 50, and so on. So in order to print these elements, we need to use their indices values in order to access those elements. Directly we cannot print 15. We can print 15 using its index values. So if we use 0, 0, the value 15 will get printed. In the same way, in order to print 20, it will be 0, 1. And for 25, 0, 2. 30, 0, 3. So this is all about the first row. Okay. And coming to the second row, in order to print 20, what is the index position? 1 and 0. 1, 0. Next for 30, 1, 1. 40, 1, 2. 50, 1, 3. And for the third one, 2, 0, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3. So for accessing the rows, if I use the value as I, and for accessing the columns, if I use it as j, then how to write a for loop? If you observe, this is my I and this is my j. Here, for accessing the elements inside the first row, the first I value is constant and j is getting incremented. In the same way for the second row and same way for the third row. So how can I write for I is equal to 0, 1 and 2? 0. How many rows are there? 3 rows. I less than 3, I plus plus. And inside I loop for j is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3. How many elements are there? 4 elements. So 0, j less than 4, j plus plus. Here I can write my print statement. So now let us see it clearly. So this is a program where the first for loop represents the rows and the second for loop represents the columns. Okay, so inside the first for loop we should be writing second for loop and then we need to print the each element. Actually we need to format this. If we just directly print, we will be getting values without any spaces like this. So if we want to print them as an array, then we need to use /ns. Okay. So this is how we access and print the two-dimensional array. In this example, a of 3 and 4. That's it.